So the next topic that we will be dealing is whooping cough. Whooping cough is also referred as pertussis. Now, this pertussis or whooping cough is a highly infectious condition, and usually it is caused by Bordetella pertussis. So, this is a microorganism that is responsible for whooping cough or pertussis. Okay, and most of the time in this condition, the child will be having fever. Along with fever, they can also have an irritating cough. So that is why it is referred as whooping cough. Okay, and most of the time what happens is the child will be having sudden attacks of coughing episodes, and that may result in cyanosis. Okay, cyanosis we are knowing that is bluish discoloration of the skin and the mucous membrane, and along with that they may also have vomiting. So that is a particular feature of whooping cough or pertussis. Remember that here it is an acute infectious condition which is caused by Bordetella pertussis, where the patient or the child here is having irritating cough. Okay, and usually this cough may result in cyanosis and vomiting later, and the child will be having fever. The Chinese usually call this pertussis condition as 100-day cough. Okay, because here most of the time the first main feature is the child will be having excess of coughing. So next is moving on to the etiology of pertussis. So as I have told, it is caused by the organism Bordetella pertussis. So next is how it spreads. Most of the time it is spread by nasopharyngeal secretions or even your bronchial secretions. That is, we can tell that it is spread mostly by the droplet infections, or even while you're touching the objects which is handled by the infected persons, especially through fomites and all. And the infective period is the whooping cough is most infectious during the catarrhal stage, that is in the first stage. Next is risk factors. So as I have told here, whooping cough is a condition which is affecting mostly the children, especially infants. It is affecting more, and even your preschool children are mostly affected. That is below the 5 years of age. And most of the time, pertussis can be seen throughout the year, but commonly it is occurring in the winter season as well as in the spring season. The next is pertussis is more common in the people who are living in overcrowded places or who are belonging to the lower socioeconomic status. Then next is moving on to the mode of transmission. This I have already discussed. Droplet infection or direct contact with the carrier, especially when the patient is sneezing or coughing or talking. What happens is the bacilli will be sprayed in the air. So next what happens is, because of that, these droplets may be infected by the other person. Then even fomites can be the one more source of infection. Incubation period is usually 7 to 14 days. Next is moving on to the clinical features or the stages of pertussis. We have got three stages. First stage is catarrhal stage. Second stage is paroxysmal stage. Next one is convalescent stage. So first one, moving on to catarrhal stage. So catarrhal stage is a stage which usually lasts for about 10 days. Okay, it lasts for about 10 days, and usually in this catarrhal stage the child will be having excess of nasal secretion, they will be having excess of sneezing, excess of cough, and because of that they will be having anorexia, that is loss of appetite may be there. They will be having excess of fatigue or malaise, and usually the night time they will be having a hacking night cough, that is night time they can have excess of coughing. Sometimes it can be even seen during the daytime. Next stage is the paroxysmal stage. Now, paroxysmal stage will last for about 2 to 4 weeks. And usually in this stage, the symptoms remain the same, that is, coughing may be there, but usually the cough will become high pitched. And because of the excess of coughing, they can have vomiting. Along with that, the infants can also have cyanosis because of hypoxia, and they can have even apnea, that is breathing may be usually decreased, or lack of breathing may be present. And if it is seen in adults and adolescents, usually they will be having continuous persistent cough. The next stage is convalescent stage. Convalescent stage usually will last for 1 to 2 weeks, and the illness will generally last sometimes entirely for 6 to 8 weeks. Next is moving on to the complications of pertussis. Now in whooping cough, what happens is the complications are mostly related to respiratory system because it is affecting your lungs here. So most of the time lungs are affected, airways are affected here, and alveoli also may be affected. So because of that, complications like bronchitis, bronchopneumonia may be seen, bronchiectasis, nasal bleeding, that is epistaxis. Along with that, the patient can also have bleeding in the brain, cerebral hemorrhage may be there, seizures or convulsions may be seen, and sometimes even coma. Now, most of the time for prevention of this pertussis, that is your whooping cough, we have got the vaccine DPT. It is actually a combination of diphtheria, pertussis, as well as tetanus. And usually, this vaccine is given in 3 doses. Okay, and each dose you are giving is 0.5 ml. Usually, IM it is given. And first dose you may start at 6 weeks. Okay, when the child is 6 weeks. Next is 10 weeks, and next is when they are 14 weeks. And booster dose is usually given when the child is 18 to 24 months old. Next is management. Most of the time, we have to give supportive care. Hospitalization may be necessary, isolation, especially when they are carrying the symptoms, then antimicrobial therapy and immunization. So, hospitalization, as I have told, when it is necessary, most of the time, when the condition is, especially if the child is having continuous or persistent cough. Along with that, they are having seizures or cyanosis or apnea. They are not able to eat or feed well, or they have got respiratory distress. In that case, what you have to do is immediately hospitalization may be essential. In that case, mostly you may have to monitor the respiratory rate, or you have to monitor the breathing pattern of the child. Next is isolation may be necessary. Now, isolation in the sense mask may not be used for the children here, but if it is seen in adults or adolescents, mask usage is usually advised. Next is fluid and nutrition is very important because most of the time there is weight loss, fatigue is there, and they can have vomiting and all. So it is very necessary to give small and frequent diet. If they are not able to tolerate it orally, you can put a NG tube insertion, or you can even start with total parenteral nutrition. Most of the time antibiotics we give here is erythromycin, azithromycin, clarithromycin. So this is all about the condition whooping cough.